This is part 41 of ASP.NET MVC tutorial. In this video, we'll discuss data type and display column attributes. Please watch part 40 before proceeding. We'll be using the same example that we started in part 40. Data type is a very useful attribute and can be used in a variety of scenarios. For example, in this table, we have this email address column, and this column is displayed as plain text. Instead, we want the email address to be rendered with mail to hyperlink, and the advantage of this is that when we click on that hyperlink, it's going to open the default email client automatically. For example, if you have Microsoft Outlook configured as your default email client, once you click on this email address with mail to hyperlink, it's going to open Microsoft Outlook automatically for you. And to achieve this, you simply need to decorate the email address property within our employee metadata class with data type attribute and specify that it is an email address using data type enum. Let's look at this in action. Let's flip to Visual Studio. So here we have our employee metadata class. The property is email address, which is of type string. And let's decorate this with data type attribute, and using data type enum we are going to specify that this is an email address. Let's build our solution and let's refresh the view. Once this view refreshes, it should render that email address with mail to hyperlink. Notice within the status bar you should see that mail to hyperlink, and at the moment when I click on this hyperlink, nothing happens on my machine because I don't have any email client configured on my machine. Another scenario where you can use data type attribute is when you want to associate currency symbols. Notice that here we have salary, and at the moment salary is displayed. We don't have salary column displayed. That's because we are using the scaffold column attribute, and we specified a value of false, meaning we don't want this salary column to be rendered. So let's turn this to true so that the salary column property is displayed, and we want to associate a currency symbol with that. Again, for that purpose we can make use of data type attribute and specify that this is a currency using data type enum. Let's build our solution and let's refresh this view. Salary should be displayed, and it's displaying a Great British Pound by default on my machine. Okay, but let's say instead you want to associate, for example, US dollar with this amount, and to achieve this all you need to do is in your web.config file specify culture using globalization element. So under system.web, use the globalization element and specify culture as English-United States. Save the changes. Let's refresh this, and instead of the Great British Pound, notice that we have a dollar symbol there. And another scenario where you can use this is if look at this, every employee has got a personal website, and then at the moment the website address is displayed as plain text. Instead we want that to be displayed as a hyperlink, and to very easily achieve that all you need to do is decorate that property with data type attribute and specify that it's a URL using data type.url. So let's do that within our employee class. So public string, the name of the property is personal website, data type let's build this and let's refresh our view, and this should be rendered as a hyperlink. Okay, this error is because we have mistyped the name of the property. It's personal website. Let's look at the name of the property. It's personal website, and to get it right I'm actually going to copy that from our auto-generated file. The name of the properties should match, So personal website, let's copy that. Let's build it once again, and let's refresh this. So now we have personal website rendered as hyperlink, and notice that once I click on this URL, it opens the target page within the same window. In our next video session, we'll actually see how to open URLs in a new window, especially when we are using this datatype.url enum. And again, we can also use this data type attribute if you only want to select date part or time part of date time data type. Another attribute that we'll discuss today is display column attribute. This attribute is very useful when a class has a property of complex type and you want to pick one property of this complex object for display purpose. Notice that here we have this company director property within this company class, which is returning a complex type of employee. So this employee class has got several properties, but then for display we want to pick one property of this employee class. Let's say, for example, full name. Let's see how to achieve this. First of all, let's go ahead and design our company class. So within our models folder, I'm going to add a class file, and let's name it company.cs. And to speed things up, I have this company director property already implemented, so let me copy and paste this within our company class. So all we are doing is having this company director property, which is returning an employee object, and then here we have hard-coded an employee ID of 1, and we are returning the first employee. Okay, and then within our home controller, let's make this change. Let's actually create an instance of company object, and then pass this company object as the model to our view. And then within the details view, I'm going to get rid of all this code So the company class is going to be the model for this view, and then what we are going to do, we are going to use this HTML helper display text for. And then we are going to specify the property x such that x dot company director, and remember this property is going to return a complex object, okay, which is nothing but the employee object in our case. And this employee object has got many properties. Out of these many properties, I just want, let's say for example, the full name of the employee to be displayed. Then what how do we achieve that? We can use display column attribute. Notice that in the partial employee class, I have decorated this class with the display column attribute, and then I specify the column as full name. So wherever we have this complex type, and if we are using this display text for helper, it's going to look if there is this display column attribute specified, and it's going to use that column for display purposes. In this case, we are going to specify within the employee class. So within this partial class, we are going to specify display column attribute, and we are specifying the property that we want to use for display purposes full name. So let's build this, and let's go ahead and refresh our view. It should only display the full name of the employee. In this case, notice that we get John Smith. In our next video, we'll discuss opening URLs in a new browser window. On this slide you can find resources for ASP.NET, C# and SQL Server interview questions. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.